Welcome to the Igniting the CEO Within podcast, where we interview successful, high level professionals to discover lessons they've learned throughout their career that can help ignite that CEO within you. I'm Mark McFatridge, and I'll be your host for the next 15 minutes or so. Our show is sponsored by Quaid, a nationwide community of CEOs and entrepreneurs. Quaid has developed Launchpad, which offers an opportunity for experienced executive coaches to become licensed circle directors. After completing the Launchpad program, you'll lead your own peer advisory circles, helping other CEOs and entrepreneurs excel in their professional and personal lives while providing a community of accountability, challenge, and support. If you'd like to learn more, go to quaidcircle.com. I am really excited about our show today. I get to hang out with Joe Feest. He's a business coach out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin for Focal Point Business Coaching. Joe, welcome to the show.
Well, hey, Mark, thank you. Glad to be here today.
Yeah, I'm excited. You've got a really cool background that I want to get to and talk through some of the stuff that you've seen. So, in your career and especially what you're doing now with the executive coaching, you get to see all kinds of leaders, and some of those leaders are awesome, and some need your help. So, if you were to start to identify what traits separate the really, really great leaders from the folks who need some help.
That's a great question. And I think that in almost every case, in what I've seen, it's all about the ability to build and maintain trust and respect. That is the foundation. No one wants to follow someone they cannot trust. And the ability to build that and maintain it, I think, is crucial for anyone to be successful, and especially crucial for those in the CEO, head of the organization spot.
Yeah, Joe, I think you're right. How does one go about building that, right? It sounds easy, right? Just all that, but how do you do that? Because let's say you come into an organization from outside and it's your first, it's your first 100 days. How do you start to build that trust and that foundation with your new team?
There's so many different ways of looking at this. I think it all begins with, based off of my experience, it starts with being reliable, showing up. You do what you say you'll do. Authenticity, be yourself. You've gotten to where you are by executing and being yourself. Be yourself. People can spot phoniness a mile away. And so reliable, authentic, and really, it is about your integrity. It's about honesty. Do you really truly have the best interest of the organization and the people who make up the organization? Do you have their best interests at heart? Are you going to be integritous, demonstrate honesty, reliability when it comes to building that organization, leading that group? That's really some practical and tactical behaviors there. And of course, things like clear communication, right? Clear
Right.
communication. And if I'm not going too far down a road, I've worked in a lot of family businesses and have coached a lot of owners of family businesses. No favoritism, no favoritism. Just because I'm the son or daughter of the owner doesn't mean that I'm going to be an effective leader of that organization. So, really paying attention to, is my son or daughter, is my replacement, if we're going to keep it in the family, are they truly qualified to lead? Do they demonstrate those trustworthy traits that we mentioned?
Yeah. No, I like that. I want to go back to again, kind of those first 100 days and how that can, it can't necessarily break you, but certainly it can set you up for success. And in my career, I've had the opportunity to go into a number of banks. But banking was my career, and one of the first things that I would do was go on a listening tour, basically, and I would go sit in the break room. I would have one-on-one meetings with as many people within the organization as I possibly could, and I'd ask two things. One, what do we do well? And two, what do we suck at? And just hearing from the people and engaging them and listening to them, and then from those conversations there would always be some things that, Mark, I really wish I had XYZ. It would help me do my job better. And you look at it and you're like, well, that's like $100 thing. We can do that, right? And then all of a sudden the $100 thing shows up on their desk, and it's like, oh, he listened, right? And that goes dead into what you were saying about just that those small things can really set you up for success.
Absolutely. It is. Um, they they are small things, but to the people that you are leading, they're huge. I love the term listening tour. Your first 30 days, you absolutely positively have to go on a listening tour. One of the big mistakes that you can make is too much, too fast, too soon, big changes. Okay? Avoid the too much, too fast, too soon when it comes to big changes. And like you said, I look at the first 30 days as the listening tour. The next 30 days are what you described. I would put it in terms of low hanging fruit.
Uh-huh.
Excuse me. The low hanging fruit. What are those easy fixes? And then the next 30 days is, where are we organizationally in the life cycle of the organization? Where are we in terms of our team? Um, it's the, do I have the right people on the bus and are they in the right seat kind of thing? That's what your days 61 through 100 are spent doing. So it's really looking at the organization big picture and starting, and the key word is starting, to make some assessments. Understand that in the first 100 days, you still don't have a 100% accurate picture of the organization. But yeah, so as you described, one, listening tour, first 30 days. Two, what's that low hanging fruit, the next 30 days? And then that 61 to 100, it's time to really be looking strategically and what would be things we could accomplish in the first year, the next
Uh-huh.
2 years. I saw one CEO do this wonderfully. The organization needed major changes. He was in a sweet spot where he pretty much spent a year on that listening tour mode and looking for
Uh-huh.
low-hanging fruit, and then he started making major changes after a year of learning. What he accomplished between year 1 and year 2, I'm not seeing people accomplish in 5 years, all because he went on that listening tour and it was extended. Now, not everyone has that luxury.
Sure.
He did. It was powerful.
Yeah, Joe, I really like that. And, a lot of that ties back into getting the buy-in from the people, which was so important. And one of the things that you reference up front is that authenticity, right? You can't just go through a listening tour, right? And as a check mark of, yeah, I listened to everybody, but I still have my own game plan in place, and that's what we're going to run. It's no, are we really listening to what the people are saying? Even if you're taking over a struggling organization and it's a turnaround, they were doing some things right? Can we not let's acknowledge that, right? One of the things that I would do is I called when you get into that evaluation stage, that those 60 to 100 days, is I'd put together a good, the bad, and the ugly report, right? Here are some things that we do really well, right? Let's celebrate those. Let's make those a foundation. Here are some things that are not horrible. We probably need to address them, but then here's some stuff, right? Here's some ugly things that we need to take care of and get that going. And that seemed to be really well received each of the times that I did that. But it all goes back to a lot of what you're saying of you have an opportunity to build some credibility by being authentic, by listening and sharing and celebrating things that you're doing well.
You know, too often a new leader, a new CEO will try to add value before establishing credibility. And the key there is you establish your credibility, then add value. And it's a classic mistake that a brand new manager will make. Well, hey, you promoted me. I want to prove how smart you are for promoting me. So they try to add all this value before there's any credibility. I think it's even more critical when you're the CEO that you really do establish that I am here. And I liked what you said too about truly listening. You know, if you made up your mind to do something, don't ask for people's input.
Yeah.
Don't ask for people's input because you made up your mind. If you're asking for input, you have to be willing to accept it. And, you know, to be frank, you sometimes have to say, I know that this is what you said, and I acknowledge that. This is why I feel it's important to go in this other direction. At
Mhm.
least provide a rationale for not incorporating what people have shared with you. But yeah, establish your credibility, then add value, not the other way around. Huge
Yeah.
mistake.
I like that. And going back to, people just want to know that they're heard, right? Like, and the way you handled it was exactly right of, hey, there are going to be some great ideas that come out from it, but either A, it's not the right time, right? B, it is outside of the scope of what we're trying to do, or C, it's just not fit in our new go forward plan. If as long as you don't just blow them off and don't acknowledge it, you're in good shape. If you do exactly what you said, which is, man, I really appreciate that feedback. Let me tell you why I can't do that. It just doesn't fit right now. It's probably not where we're going because we're going to start to pivot over time, and that just isn't the right move for us. But man, I really like how you're thinking, and we need more of that. So please keep coming with your ideas and share those with me.
Absolutely. And like, I like how you picked up on it might not be the right time now. By the way, it might not be the right time ever, but that's okay too. And
Mhm.
then I'm always looking for those opportunities to, and when you're asking for input, you have to make certain that you're asking the right people for input as well. People who have the best interest of the organization at heart, not just their own best interest, as well as that they are strategic thinkers as well, that they're
Uh-huh.
thinking of the big picture as well as their department, their business unit, etc.
Yeah, I think I'm 90% with you there. I think there are some opportunities for those who aren't there yet that you can use it as a coaching opportunity. But at a minimum, their heads have to be in the right spot, right? That they are willing and open to focus on something bigger than them. If you can get that, even though they may not show it every day, if they have that mindset, then it's an educational opportunity to share, hey, here's where we're going and here's how we're going to get there. And here's a role that you can play to get there.
Mark, that's a good point of clarification. I'm not trying to get rid of that, of the okay, let me state this a little bit clearer. I wanna talk to brand new employees. I wanna
Mhm.
talk to people who are underperforming. So often, underperformance, could it be they're not a good fit or personal
Yeah.
issues? Sure, but, so often, what did Deming say? That, your results are the result of a system. And what systems are in place that are not serving. So there is that individual can that my individual contribution may not be where it needs to be. I still need your input. So often though that lack of performance is a result of something in the organization systematically, which is getting in the way. And by the way, I've often heard, well, we don't have a system. Mark, I call that the no system system. The
That's
no
right.
system is bullies and those who yell and those who throw their weight around. They're the ones who win. It's the no system, which, by the way, gets in the way of a lot of performance as well.
No question. No
Yeah.
question. Joe,
Yeah.
this has been amazing. Would you do me a favor? Would you share with our audience what a typical engagement with you looks like and how can people get a hold of you?
Great. Thank you for asking that. A typical engagement will start with a conversation at, a BNI event, a chamber, those networking opportunities. Also, LinkedIn, right?
Mhm.
Using the LinkedIn tools to be able to find people who are your target audience, your niche, and connecting that way. So it starts with just a simple conversation of, hey, what do you do? What are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? Then, if there seems to be a mutual connection, let's have another 20-minute conversation where we really get down to some nitty gritty in terms of what's going on in your business. And then, if it really is a good fit, we roll into, okay, here's where I see you, if I understand you correctly. Do I understand? Yep. Here's the things that I could be helpful with. And it's truly coaching. I'm not a consultant. I look at it as consultants give answers. And by the way, we need consultants. Consultants give answers. Coaches help draw that answer out, which really, as you called it earlier, creates buy-in. And a lot of times, you know what it turns out to be? Is when you're at the top, it's lonely. Who do you talk to about your stress? Who do you talk to about your time and your work-life balance? Who do you have in the business? Typically, no one. So it becomes that kind of rapport that we develop. We focus on time, team, strategy, sales, stress, but it's also that human connection. And so the way to reach out to me, of course, on LinkedIn, I'm Joseph C. Feest. And my email address is jfeast. And by the way, feast is Feest, like Thanksgiving feast, but two E's instead of EA. So jfeast at focalpointcoaching.com.
Love it.
Feast at focalpointcoaching.com. And also my website is out there. If you go to Focal Point Coaching and you search for a coach, type in my name, Joe Feast, and that'll take you straight to my website. So a couple ways to reach out to me there, Mark.
Love it. Joe, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time and hanging out with me. I really appreciate you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it as well. Have a great rest of your day, Mark.
All right. All right, folks. We did it again. We found another amazing leader to share insights on what it takes to rise to that CEO seat that you're seeking. As we wrap up, I want to remind you that Igniting the CEO Within is sponsored by Quaid, a nationwide community of CEOs and entrepreneurs. Quaid has created Launchpad, which provides an opportunity for experienced executive coaches to become licensed circle directors and significantly impact the lives of CEOs and entrepreneurs. To find out more, visit quaidcircle.com. Until next time, keep igniting that CEO within you. I'm Mark McFatridge. Thanks for listening.